Let's continue the conversation now with Agri SA, a federation of agricultural organisations across the country. And I'm joined by Christo van Rheede, Executive Director of Agri SA. Thank you very much for joining me in studio this evening. That piece that we've just played from Govan Whittles, do you feel that these self-defence units really are completely above board and a natural response to the fact that there just aren't enough police to get to the farms? Or do you share some of the concerns raised by the State Security Minister?
Agri SA is not aware about these camps. Our farmers are part of local structures called the farmer unions, and those farmer unions are again aligned to our provincial structures, provincial to national structure. Yes, we've got Agri Securitas, which supplies farmers with cameras, all kinds of technologies to secure them, and we engage with the police. We've had very constructive conversations with the police commissioner. We've also met with the police minister a couple of days ago. So that's our focus. Take hands with the police, form partnerships, and making sure that farmers themselves are well organized and well protected, because it's every citizen's right to protect themselves. But we are not aware of any self-defense units.
All right, so security firms like Cala Combat, have you not heard of them before?
We've got partnerships with your traditional security companies that comes out and do patrols and assist with all kinds of other security measures, but that is always in liaison with the police.
So are you concerned then about these self-defense units? I mean, they've brought in someone from the Israeli Defense Force to train them.
I'm not sure what is happening there. So for me to comment on something that I don't have the facts about will be irresponsible. But yes, it will be a concern if that unit or that type of training is aimed at overthrowing the government or aimed at causing race polarization. So that is something that we will never approve of.
I mean, and that's the real worry, isn't it? You know, tomorrow in Senekal we'll have the EFF, who are very polarised and have a very strong position, and we've got AfriForum and we've got farmers who are angry. And some of them are frightened, though they might not admit that. And that leads to a very heightened emotional situation. And both of these groupings have very, very different views. And the extremes of their views, and they don't all have those extreme views, but the extremes of those views almost back each other up in terms of the stance that they take. It's potentially a very dangerous situation. The police ministry is saying they've got it locked down, they've got it under control. Do you share their confidence tomorrow? Are you a little bit worried?
Yeah, we're indeed very, very concerned. We've met with the police minister, we've met with the minister of the state security, and we've asked all of our members not to get embroiled in protest marches or to be involved in anything that is untoward. We are of the opinion that that court case and the proceedings, we should respect it, and we should allow the family to be part of that process so that they also get healing in the process. And that's a legal process that we must respect. We cannot take the law in our own hands. And what we really want to discourage is EFF supporters or supporters from any other organization to come there and to try to score cheap political points, because that is unacceptable. We must never abuse a very sad moment, for our own purposes. What I want to emphasize is, yes, we have absolute understanding of people's frustrations. The farmers on the one hand that get killed, the people on the Cape Flats that are terrorized by gangs, the people in the townships whose daughters and whose women are getting killed by criminals. This is not a fight between black and white. This is a fight between criminals and law-abiding citizens.
And I think that most people agree with you. At the same time, you've got a lot of white farmers saying there's definitely a racial element to the attacks, that more white farmers are killed than black farmers, for example. And then on the other side, you've got accusations that some white farmers treat their workers really badly and that there's a revenge element. That is so easy to polarize on. It's so easy to politicize. And I'm just wondering, if you think that, and you're probably much more in touch with the sentiment of the farming community, do you think that that's going to be heeded? Because it just takes a couple of hot-headed people to do something really stupid, and this can escalate.
The last thing that we want is a bloodbath. The last thing that we want is for people to start shooting at each other, because it's very easy to start a fire. It's very difficult to control it. And if that happens in Senekal, it will have massive repercussions all over the country. People will start killing each other, and then we sit with a massive problem. You can end up with a civil war. Do people realize how the Syrian civil war has started? Do people realize how the wars and the toppling of governments has started in the northeast or northern African countries? And I think people must think a bit further. We've had a very good agricultural season. We are so blessed in many ways. We have saved South Africa from real starvation during the lockdown. And I want government to start appreciating that. I want ordinary citizens to realize that farmers are their saving grace. So the last thing that I want for farmers now to go and compromise the important role that they are playing in the South African context and in the international context. We've been exporting food. Mm-hmm. We have assisted with growing the South African economy in terms of the GDP, while other sectors have suffered. So do not compromise that. Always think of tomorrow and what the implications of your actions will be.
Look, I know there's been a lot of talk this week. I know the police minister and the state security minister are going to be there tomorrow. And let's hope the talk and trying to reach some sort of solution prevails. Before I let you go, I just have to ask you for your response to President Ramaphosa's economic recovery plan. As you point out, you know, farms kept us fed during the lockdown, and actually agriculture is a good year. But just in terms of the plans that the President has laid out to actually boost exports, that South Africa could be exporting a lot more to the rest of Africa, do you support that? What are your thoughts on his plan?
Agriculture is a prime example, where you allow the free market to operate, where you open up markets, where you get the farmer with the expertise to operate on that farm. The end result is job creation, the end result is foreign exchange that you earn for the country, and the end result is you create a food-secure country. Government must take a step back. Government's job is to create conducive circumstances for business to grow, to invest. Government must stop with this ideological obsession to control everything from a centralistic point of view. Government's job is to really put the plan into action. We've had many plans. We've seen many of those plans not coming to fruition. And the biggest challenge is to hold people accountable within government, state departments, to deliver on what they're supposed to deliver. They must stay out of business. Their job is creating conducive circumstances and not to exploit government's resources for their own benefit, because that's the biggest problem that we face in this country.
Well, thank you very much for your views this evening. Christo, Executive Director of Agri SA.